Now at 8 o'clock, the search for a mountain biker missing in the Mount Hood National Forest continues this morning. We'll let you know where rescue crews are setting to focus their efforts today.
Plus, some beloved Portland bars will have to shut their doors down, saying that they'll never bounce back from the pandemic. When your last chance to grab a drink will be.
And later this half hour, parking rules on Sauvie Island a lot stricter these days, but that did not stop people from packing beaches there over the weekend. We'll have the latest on the island's new parking permit program coming up this hour on KGW News at Sunrise.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 8 o'clock on your Monday. I'm China Green.
Monday, whoop whoop. I'm Drew Carney. That's Rod Hill down low. That's Chris McGinnis up top. They're ready to do traffic and weather together right here, right now.
Boy, you guys are so animated.
Okay. Coffee.
Good morning. 8 o'clock hour. Obviously, temperatures are on the rise at this point. Sunny skies from the Chehalem Tasting Room in Sherwood at 69 degrees. It is a really warm morning. We believe temperatures will be noticeably cooler today, but you wouldn't know it by what's going on at this hour. Portland at 68 degrees, so we're knocking on 70's door already. I have a 75 at noon and a high getting up to 84. Now, yesterday was 95, and tomorrow we will be back up into the 90s. We do have a heat advisory from the Weather Service tomorrow afternoon and also Wednesday, and we'll talk more about that hot weather. Wednesday, the hottest. That's coming up in my complete forecast. Chris?
Okay, Rod, thanks for that. I want to start off with a TriMet alert. TriMet telling us because of an earlier power outage up near the Expo Center that yellow line, the southbound yellow line, is delayed right now getting into downtown. Delays up to 20 minutes through 8:30. So just plan for a few extra minutes there if that's part of your drive. Let's get you back. Whoops, we're right past that. I wanted to let you know that in Salem, we've got a disabled vehicle on southbound I-5. It is south of Kugler Boulevard right now, and the drive right there is really thick, probably an extra 15 minutes or so to get you south out of Salem on Interstate 5. I-205 through Clackamas, slow and steady from Clackamas down to Westland. And we switch gears. That earlier crash that we had, nasty looking, but luckily no injuries reported with that rollover crash on Northwest 16th and Everett. The crash is clear, but there are some residual delays that are, well, basically adding to the overall slowness of I-5 this morning. Right now, it's about a 25-minute ride to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. You know, dozens of search and rescue crews are still searching for a missing mountain biker in the Mount Hood National Forest.
52-year-old Ralph Sawyer did not return from his planned biking trip on Friday. His car was found with his phone inside, but other than that, crews haven't found any signs of his location. We talked to an official near the search area about the resources being used in this mission.
Saturday, we had about 40 searchers out in the field using ATVs, motorbikes, drones. We had an airplane from Hood River County Sheriff's Office helping us out. So we've basically been using everything we've had to try to find him. And then today, Sunday, we've had about 70 searchers out in the field using some of those same tools, and they've really been able to cover a lot of ground today.
They say that they're centering their search around East Still Creek Road and roads around Trillium Lake. Sawyer is 6'1" with brown hair. He was last seen wearing an orange bike helmet, blue shirt, and black shorts. If you have any information, you're asked to call 503-723-4949.
Meanwhile, police are investigating a deadly stabbing inside a Southeast Portland home on Sunday. They say it happened shortly after 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon near the intersection of Southeast 114th and Boise Street. Officers found a man dead inside that home when they got there. Then, less than an hour later, they detained a suspect nearby. There is still no word on whether the suspect and victim knew each other. Anyone with information about this is asked to contact Portland Police.
In Deschutes County, 3 people walked away relatively minor injuries after surviving a plane crash. Just after 11 o'clock yesterday morning, deputies were called to a community just north of the Sisters Eagle Airport. There, they found a small Cessna aircraft that had crashed shortly after takeoff. The people inside were able to get out of the plane before it became engulfed in flames. Fire crews were able to put the fire out before it spread to vegetation and nearby buildings.
The Washington County Sheriff's Office is investigating 2 separate crashes over the weekend that involved people on bikes. So the first one happened late Saturday night along Northwest Dairy Creek Road. That's where investigators say a car hit a woman on a bike and then took off. That woman spent the night injured in a ditch. She was finally found Sunday morning and taken to a local trauma center. The second crash happened just before 11 o'clock Sunday morning. Witnesses say they saw a man on a bike suddenly cross Old Cornelius Pass Road directly into the path of a car that was coming down Cornelius Pass Road. Police say the 55-year-old cyclist is in critical condition. The driver, meanwhile, stayed at the scene and is cooperating with investigators.
In McMinnville, a Portland man led police on a very unusual chase Saturday after crashing his car into a building near McMinnville Municipal Airport with a woman and child in the car, then took off on foot, breaking into another building. So here's what happened. This happened just after 12:30 p.m. at the building near the airport. Investigators believe 26-year-old Jamar Bell drove through a field, crashed through two chain link fences before hitting the building. Police say Bell then broke into the second story of the building in a tarmac area of the airport and was seen stealing keys. Bell was arrested on multiple charges. The woman and child in the car were not hurt.
A local animal nonprofit is getting some financial backing from PetSmart, allowing it to offer free care and supplies to pet owners in underserved communities. The Portland Animal Welfare Team, also known as the PAW Team, PAW, received a $100,000 grant from PetSmart Charities to support its clinics. Now, the team plans to expand services into East Multnomah County. Specifically, they say the Rockwood neighborhood and other areas around Gresham. They say because of the rising cost of vet care and pet food, a lot of pet owners are ignoring their own basic needs to provide for their pets.
Pets mean so much to us, right? Our pets are our family. And the idea of having to choose between your family member or your basic needs or having to give up your pet due to financial circumstances is unbearable.
The PAW Team provides things like vaccines and flea protection for pets while also offering free food and pet supplies. They rely on donations and volunteers to support more than 3,000 families each year.
Maybe give me like an hour and then I'll get back to you, but I definitely see this in the cards again.
On Sunday, thousands of cyclists finished up the Seattle to Portland Bicycle Classic, also known as STP. The more than 200-mile bike ride is the largest group ride in the Pacific Northwest and one of the longest in the country. A spokesperson for Cascade Bicycle Club, the group behind the ride, says that they've spent the last 40-plus years cultivating an event for all kinds of cyclists.
We really try to make it as easy as possible for folks who are not bicyclists, who are not like bike racer types. Anybody who wants to come ride 200 miles.
I never thought I would make it. There was times there when I wanted to quit, to be honest with you, but there's a lot of support, a lot of volunteers.
There's no why in quit, China.
The ride ended with a party at the finish line in Portland's Holiday Park.
It's one of the very few opportunities that they have to be in a whole group of people that look just like them.
Shriners Children's Hospital here in Portland invited some of its patients to get fitted for new running blades. So running blades are a type of prosthetic leg that's designed for athletic activities. We spoke to one of the girls there who says she's thankful that the hospital is providing them so that kids can play sports no matter what.
Some of the people at, of course, different ages have been able to prove that you can do anything. Even though you don't have a leg or an arm, you can always do something.
The nonprofit involved in this event helps kids build self-community and self-esteem through running, among other activities.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and speak for Rod when I say the one thing that he got from that story is that there was donuts on that prosthetic leg.
I did, yes.
Which is awesome.
Well, it's important to be inspired no matter what you're doing in life, you know, what's going on. So that inspires the donuts.
What?
Here's a look at our air mass tracking map. This isn't overly impressive, but it does show, this is this afternoon, that the hot weather is settling out west, which is what we expected for this week. Today we've got kind of a one-day break in the heat. We're looking at low to mid 80s in Portland. And then here's Wednesday, which at ground level will be the hottest of the bunch, and maybe we hit 100 degrees. This is 5,000-foot temperature profiling. I will tell you that the core of the hot weather that comes out west this week is expected to shift back to the east next week. So at least for us, that's good news, right? We do have a heat advisory up tomorrow afternoon through Wednesday from the Weather Service and, of course, the KGW impact alert for the hot weather as well. This is up and down all of I-5, up through Longview, out into the gorge. Now, there's a separate heat advisory that's in play today for you folks out in Hermiston and Pendleton, where temperatures have a chance to get up to about 100 degrees this afternoon. But for the Rose City, it's tomorrow and Wednesday. Mid-90s on Tuesday, and then we could hit 100, or even see temperatures in the valley go as high as 102 on Wednesday. So shade, water, rest breaks, exhaustion, heat stroke, all of that, something, please plan your day accordingly. Wednesday afternoon, you wouldn't want to be outside just, lifting things and working hard. All right, here's a look at our clear skies this morning. This is up in Welch's at the Mount Hood, Oregon Resort, looking out over their beautiful golf course. It'll be about 72 at Government Camp today, with clear skies expected over the high country. Downtown Portland, we have a clear sky start. Temperatures later today, as I mentioned, will hold in the 80s from Portland down through Albany. 93 in Madras, 96 out in Pendleton, or hotter. And here's our 7-day forecast. 84 today. The impact alert for the hot weather and the heat advisory tomorrow. 95, 99 Wednesday, maybe 100. We bring it down to low 90s on Thursday. And if we get morning cloud cover Thursday, there's reason to believe we could. We'd probably hold in the 80s. So we need to get through tomorrow. We need to get through Wednesday. Here's Chris.
I'm just trying to make it through the day, man. Just kidding. All right, on a more serious note, let's go down to Marion County. I do have a traffic alert on southbound I-5, south of Kubler Road. ODOT dealing with a disabled vehicle. It looks like there's one lane blocked, and there's about a 2.5-mile backup on southbound I-5. This is the snapshot from Kubler Boulevard, and traffic is puttering along at about 8 to 10 miles an hour. It goes from 3 lanes to 2 once you get south of there, and obviously that's adding to some significant slowing. So you're going to need an extra probably 15 or 20 minutes to get through Salem southbound on I-5 right now because of that disabled vehicle. Back in town, TriMet reporting some yellow line delays up through about 8:30 on the southbound yellow line because of earlier power outage issues up near the Expo Center. So just be aware of that. Back to the Freeway Drive east side of town, still a little slow south of Clackamas down to West Lynn. And I'm about to sneeze. So before I do that, I'm going to pass it over to you, Drew.
We've been a part of one of those on-air sneezes before, Chris. We know that sneeze. We are covering this story this morning, part of our national headlines, that huge wildfire that's burning near the Grand Canyon. We know it's already destroyed one of the park's most historic buildings. But before we get to that,
President Trump making new waves in trade, announcing new tariffs against Mexico and the European Union, and warning the rates could go even higher as the EU weighs potential retaliation. I'm Alice Barr in Washington. Latest details coming up.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Well, the Department of Homeland Security is still dealing with questions after the deadly flooding in Texas. President Donald Trump is proposing new tariffs on Mexico and the European Union. NBC's Alice Barr brings us the latest on both of those stories from Washington, D.C.
President Trump stepping up trade tensions again with more top U.S. trading partners over the weekend, announcing new 30% tariffs on Mexico and the European Union, set to take effect August 1st, while signaling he's still open to negotiate.
We're dealing with other countries and certain countries that would rather have a deal than a regular tariff, and we're willing, if they're willing to open up.
European leaders sharply critical of the tariffs they say would hurt businesses and consumers on both sides, pledging to intensify negotiations while warning they could retaliate. Mexico calling the new levies unfair treatment after President Trump accused the country of not stopping the cartels. Despite tariff uncertainty over the past several months, inflation has cooled, and the Trump administration is adamant prices won't go up.
Well, these tariffs are real if the president doesn't get a deal that he thinks is good enough. But, you know, conversations are ongoing, and we'll see where the dust settles.
While some experts warn of a looming cumulative impact if all the threatened import taxes go through.
Everything is going to cost more over time.
At the same time, Homeland Security head Kristi Noem is defending her department's response to the deadly flooding in Texas, sharply refuting claims that a policy requiring her sign off on contracts over $100,000 caused delays.
Those contracts.
And on the future of FEMA.
The president recognizes that FEMA should not exist the way that it always has been. It needs to be redeployed in a new way.
Pointing to other federal resources like the Coast Guard that helped respond. Today, President Trump is meeting with the NATO Secretary General after promising to sell weapons to NATO allies in Europe to then share with Ukraine. The president has been promising more military aid to Ukraine as he steps up his criticism of Russian President Putin, teasing a major announcement on Russia as soon as today. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Here's a look at some other national headlines with your morning rush. A fire overnight at an assisted living facility in Massachusetts killed 9 residents and left 1 more in critical condition. Officials say this facility houses about 70 patients altogether. When firefighters first arrived, there were flames coming from the main entrance and several residents were heard screaming for help from their windows. 5 firefighters were also injured during this. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Yesterday marked 1 year since the assassination attempt on President Trump at this campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. 20-year-old gunman Thomas Matthew Crooks pierced the upper part of the president's ear with a bullet. He also killed 1 person attending that rally and critically injured 2 others. Secret Service agents eventually shot and killed Crooks. And the Dragon Bravo fire in the Grand Canyon has grown now to more than 3,400 acres. Officials say it's already destroyed a number of historic cabins and also the Grand Canyon Lodge. All inner canyon trails, campgrounds, and associated areas are closed until further notice. And that's a look at your morning rush.
Your time now is 8:17. We are looking at the Tasting room.
In Sherwood.
In Sherwood.
Sherwood!
Now that's a barn. That's not the tasting room. This is actually confusing.
We're looking at the Skycam setup that looks at that barn.
Yeah, I love the barn though.
Right.
We're not sure what's in the barn. Maybe I should do a ride on the road and find out what's in that barn.
I can't say I've been to the tasting room. I've heard great things about it. It's kind of new. We do have that Skycam set up at the tasting room looking out into what this morning is a beautiful scene. It's a beautiful start to the day.
Aggressive, both of you.
This is like morning exercise, Mr. Carney.
8:18.
I feel good.
We're swimming into your living room. Whoa, I almost lost my place there. Good night.
Well, we're talking about today's forecast, which is a 1-day cool down. Talking about the Willamette Valley in Southwest Washington, and then we'll get back to the hot stuff tomorrow. I'll take you through the temperature march, if you will. Yesterday was 95. Weather Service had a heat advisory up. That's gone for today. Today we stay in the 80s. It shows 83 in Portland, maybe 84, 86, maybe 87 or so in Salem. We do have a heat advisory today out toward Umatilla County, 101 in Pelton today, but that goes away tomorrow. You folks will cool down. Here's tomorrow, 89. But look at the valley heat back up into a heat advisory tomorrow. Mid-90s, Portland, Salem, Corvallis. The hottest weather this week for the I-5 corridor will be Wednesday. This did tick a 100 degree. Did you see it in Portland? Same in Salem, about 99 or 100 degrees in Corvallis. So the hottest we've been so far this year is 96, you may recall, speaking PDX specifically, and we could hit 100. It wouldn't be a record for the day, but it would be the hottest of the year so far, and certainly reason for a heat advisory and KGW weather impact alert. And hotter Wednesday, West Side Valley. Then we'll be out east. It shows John Day and Pendleton at 92. So this is a week that's all about identifying the different days with the different pockets of where it's going to be the hottest. Right now, we have 76 degrees. It's a warm morning out. This is clear skies from the Oregon Veterans Home camera out in the Dalles. Northwest winds gusting to 30, expecting gusts 30 to 35 today. So that's kind of already happening, it looks like. Here's Providence Park live camera. Looking out toward the West Hill, sunny morning. And we're at 70 now in Portland. The wind direction is light northeast at 2 currently. Other numbers, 62 in Kelso. I just checked, still reporting cloudy skies up in Catalyst County and up and down the coast. But the rest of us are clear this morning. It's a 73, beautiful morning over in Bend. So the coast. This is going on a couple weeks at this point, of more mornings than not being cloudy and foggy, and the afternoon clearing has been a struggle in many spots. So we'll see how it plays out today. Temperatures expected to be in the 60s. For the valley, at least holding in the 80s today. Again, a one-day drop, but still warm to hot. This shows Salem could be all the way to 88. Different story up north of the Columbia. Southwest Washington, 76 degrees in Longview. Battleground 80 in Vancouver, 83. I've got Portland at 84. And then we have the impact alert for the heat advisory. Tomorrow afternoon, 95. I've got 99, but maybe we hit 100 on Wednesday. We'll drop on Thursday. I've got us 92. But there is a scenario that shows morning clouds, and that would actually hold us down even more. And then by the upcoming weekend, your plans look more comfortable. I've got 82 morning clouds, afternoon sun both days. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. I want to get you back to that traffic alert in Marion County. Southbound I-5 really backed up south of the Salem area because of a disabled vehicle not far from Delaney Road. Here's the lineup, actually, that now extends past Kubler Boulevard. Remember, you go from 3 lanes to about, well, 2 lanes right around where that disabled vehicle is. So everything funneling down and really getting slow through that part of Marion County. Give yourself an extra 15 minutes at least southbound on I-5 to get through Salem. All right, back to the metro area. 205 South still running pretty thick through Gladstone. There's the live look right now at Highway 213. I-5, this is misleading a bit because the end of the line now has cleared the interstate bridge, or just about, right? Once you get, though, into North Portland, we're still pretty thick the rest of the way down into the Rose Quarter. And last but not least, over at the Sylvan Hills, still puttering along on Highway 26. But again, here, too, the end of the line has worked its way inside of 217. So with that in mind, your drive from Hillsborough, we've chipped away at that. Now it's down to 22 minutes, guys.
Thank you, Chris. Coming up, people looking to beat the heat on Sauvie Island on weekends now have to go through a new system. Why not everyone is happy about the change?
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Your time now is 8:24, and with the hot weather that we're expecting this week, you may be looking to cool off at the beach. But remember, you now need a parking permit to visit the beaches on Sauvie Island during the weekend. Celine Stevens brings us an update on how the new parking pilot program is going so far.
How's it going today, man? You going to the beach?
I am.
All right, awesome. Do you have your parking permit?
A wildlife area parking permit and a free Sauvie Island Beaches Pass are required if you plan on heading to any of the beaches on Sauvie Island during a weekend or holiday this summer.
I made sure to get it done on my ODFW app this morning. Easy peasy.
This being the second weekend of the pilot program.
What you see here today is we're helping people that come through, because you can buy this online. Just go to myodfw.com and click buy license. You can also get it through SauvieIslandParking.com.
The Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife stating they offered 1,500 passes Sunday, yet by 2:30 in the afternoon, the beach's lots reached capacity, something Michelle Dennehy somewhat expected given the heat. She says the new system has helped with overcrowding.
We're definitely seeing that we don't have the kind of parking and traffic problems that we were experiencing. So definitely we're seeing that. We're hearing some good feedback from people coming through.
I've been here on the worst of the worst days. I mean, so if it's better than that, I hope that that will improve the experience for everybody.
Years ago when I used to come here, we kind of had to park like how we are now. And there used to be cars on the roadways too, blocking other people in.
And while not everyone was in the loop about the new rules,
we were stopped up there and they told us we had to get the beach pass and showed us how to do it on the phone.
So I'll have you scan that QR code.
Operations still moved quickly, getting everyone what they needed and where they needed to go.
I showed it, and I just said, hey, here's the date, and the guy said, go on in.
The line didn't bother me. We got here about 11 and it was okay. Some of our friends got stuck in line, about 10 people long, but nothing crazy.
Celine Stevens, KGW News.
Coming up in our next half hour, we'll hear from the manager of a local bar who says they'll be closing their doors next month due to ongoing financial struggles since the pandemic. Plus, the latest on wildfires burning across Oregon right now as Governor Kotek sends in more resources to help fight the flames.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Good morning, I'm Drew Carney. Dozens of search and rescue crews are looking for a missing mountain biker in the Mount Hood National Forest. After he didn't come back from a biking trip on Friday, 52-year-old Ralph Sawyer's car was found with his phone inside, but still no sign of Sawyer. He's 6'1" with brown hair, was last seen wearing an orange bike helmet, blue shirt, and black shorts. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office says the search is centered around East Still Creek Road and roads around Trillium Lake. All right, Rod Hill, what do you have for us in the Weather Center?
Well, we have a beautiful morning, by the way, up at Government Camp around Trillium Lake. Temperature today expected to be about 72 degrees. Down here in Salem, Clear skies over the Capitol. Same thing over the Rose City this morning. The sunshine is a go. 68 currently, 75 at noon. This is a one-day break from the heat, as I have Portland getting up to only about 84 this afternoon. Just like that, heat advisories back tomorrow and Wednesday. KGW weather impact alert. Looks like mid-90s tomorrow at most, but we could be right around 100 on Wednesday. That would become, if so, the hottest day of the year so far. Then we'll bring the temperatures back down Thursday.
.30 half hour of the Sunrise Show on this Monday morning. We mentioned this earlier on the show, but it was about 2 hours ago, so it's worth mentioning again. Is this your sheep?
We still can't find it. 2 hours have gone by.
We know where the sheep is. We're wondering where the owner is.
Oh.
Yeah, Beaverton police know where the sheep is, but now they're looking for someone to come claim it. They posted this photo to Twitter saying the sheep is, quote, living its best life in the Murray Hill neighborhood in South Beaverton. So again, if you know this sheep, if you are the owner of this sheep, they're asking you to call that number. Do we have the number on the screen? I'll give it to you. Yeah. 503, you writing this down? 503-629-0111. 503-629-0111. Apparently that is the hotline to call if you have a lost sheep.
There's a sheep on the loose. Ain't that some sheep?
What?
Did it?
Is that is it a pun on a swear word?
I mean, it's
Okay.
8:30. Our viewers are older now.
Ooh, controversial. A controversial start to the 8:30 half hour.
Silence in the studio. We kind of left China hanging.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
We were shocked by the delivery.
Yeah,
of
the
moment.
thought process. Shocking.
You're outdoors. I think we have the barn camera. Yeah, some sheep like to go into the barn. There could be sheep in this barn. We don't know that, but there could be. This is Chehalem Tasting Room camera in Sherwood, looking out over the vineyard. Got the I love this. We have the picnic tables, just waiting for folks to come sip some wine and enjoy down at the bottom of the screen. Gorgeous day out there. It's going to be a break from the heat today. Still a warm summer day, but we're going to be in the 80s, not the 90s. 69 right now. Downtown Portland, 68 right now. It's a warm morning, so temperature climb should gradually start to slow up. I have a 75 at noon and then bouncing to about 84 this afternoon for a high. Sunset now at 8:57, by the way. Now, statewide, we do have clouds and fog at the beaches. That's expected to show gradual clearing during the day, or partial clearing anyway. Hot weather in Central Oregon. We have that fire burning in Jefferson County. This shows Madras 93, maybe 95 for a high today. You've got gusty west winds out in the Dalles to 30, 35. You've got a heat advisory out toward Umatilla County. For Pendleton, this shows 96, but could be closer to 100 for an actual high today. Portland, our one-day cool down, 84. Tomorrow, heat advisory is back. KGW impact alert for the heat is back, 95. That would equal yesterday. And then here's Wednesday. 99 would be the hottest of the year so far, maybe 100 in parts of the valley. And then Thursday, we bring it back down to 92. And by the weekend, we're all the way back down to comfortable weather, 82 and 82. And that's your update. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. We start with a TriMet Max alert. We've got now delays on the Max Orange line because of that earlier power outage up near the Expo Center. TriMet saying expect delays up to 20 minutes traveling south of Milwaukee through about 9 o'clock. All right, back to your drive and into Marion County. This has been a trouble spot for quite a while now. A disabled vehicle on I-5 southbound south of the Salem area has traffic backed up about 2.5 to 3 miles right now. This is the snapshot from Trip Check here at Kubler Boulevard. You can see all 3 lanes lined up. That disabled vehicle, by the way, is right about north of the Sunnyside area where it goes from 3 lanes to 2. So traffic really, really thick there. Still pretty slow out of Clackamas. This is southbound 205 near the Highway 213 exit ramp in Oregon City. And then the I-5 drive. The good news here is that the end of the line has worked its way across the interstate bridge, but we are still pretty thick once you get south of the Expo Center. And last but not least, over on the west side, oh, that looks slow, guys. There's all 3 lanes of the inbound Sunset at Sylvan. At last check, our trip in from Hillsborough, about 22 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Your time now is 8:33. And new this morning, the Cram fire burning near Madras in Jefferson County has grown to more than 4,000 acres. Now, that happened overnight. The fire was discovered around 5:30 Sunday night and has triggered level 2B set evacuation orders for parts of Jefferson County. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says the fire is 0% contained right now. So here's a look at the current evacuation map. If you are traveling on Highway 97, be sure to let fire trucks and personnel through. And the smoke in the area can also cause poor visibility, so be cautious there.
Also in Central Oregon, the Highland Fire, burning 2 miles south of Prineville, has burned 1,500 acres, and this one is 5% contained. Over the weekend, crews were able to set up a perimeter around this fire. Aerial resources will also help firefighters on the ground who are working at this point on cooling hotspots. There are still some level 3 go now evacuation orders in place near this fire, as well as level 2 and level 1 orders. We also want to update you on a story we brought you as it was happening last Friday morning. A man is under arrest for allegedly starting a fire at this Portland apartment building near 104th and East Burnside. The charges against Sean Swartz include arson, reckless endangering, and criminal mischief. The landlord of this building says 6 units are a total loss, leaving at least a dozen people without a home. Firefighters had to rescue 8 people that morning. Some told us they actually jumped out of their windows to escape. 2 people ended up in the hospital with burns. 1 person broke their ankle from jumping to safety. Portland Fire is still working to determine how this fire started, but we're told that the suspect who's charged with arson was a resident in that building.
A couple of well-known bars in Portland's Central East Side say that they'll soon be shutting their doors for good as they struggle to continue after the pandemic.
According to Prosper Portland, the city's retail sector continues to struggle, with vacancy rates for retail properties jumping from about 12% in the fourth quarter of 2019 all the way up to 32% in the fourth quarter of last year. Slow Bar, it's a popular spot for drinks and a burger, is planning to close its doors on August 9th, saying they have consistently struggled since the pandemic. The general manager believes that drug use on streets around the bar is also responsible for slowing business down.
We've done everything we can as far as getting costs down and getting the cost of operating business down, but getting people through the door has been a little bit more difficult lately.
Also in the Central East Side, another spot called Home, a bar, announced that they're going to close at the end of this month after 10 years in business. They blame rising costs for their coming closure. And Higgins Restaurant, big popular spot in downtown, says they're also on the brink of closure. They issued a statement saying they're, quote, hanging on by a thread.
Local business and political leaders are calling on Oregonians to show support for Intel as it's set to lay off more than 2,000 employees this week. Intel initially indicated that tomorrow the company would be laying off 529 manufacturing employees, but that number nearly quadrupled to roughly 2,400. Right now, the layoffs are set for tomorrow at Intel campuses in Aloha and Hillsborough. The Portland Business Journal says the revised figure means the layoffs will impact nearly 12% of Intel's workforce. But leaders in the community say this isn't just an Intel problem.
These are Oregonians. These are families. The ripple effect is real. It's not just when that person loses their job, how it just doesn't affect them. There is a ripple effect to the community.
Oregonians, wake up. This is another moment to stand back and think about the fact that we need to appreciate every single business, whether it employs 2 people or 22,000 people.
Intel says the layoffs are necessary due to high cost and financial concerns. American authorities say that they detained an Oregon mother and her 4 young children in Washington at a Canadian border.
They were detained while visiting with family at Peace Arch Park, a well-known neutral area where Americans can see their family and friends. Here's KGW's Amma McCarty with more on their case.
A mother and her 4 U.S. citizen children from my district have been in an inhumane situation.
Congresswoman Maxine Dexter calling out U.S. Customs and Border Protection outside a facility in the small city of Ferndale, Washington.
She's been denied access to counsel. She's been denied access to her U.S. representative. If we accept that citizen children can be taken without cause, without due process, that mothers can be disappeared across state lines, we surrender our democracy.
That mother, Jackie Merlos, her mom, and 4 children traveled up to a well-known meeting spot on the U.S.-Canadian border, Peace Arch Park.
For years, people have used it as kind of a neutral area where they can see friends and family.
But that meeting with her sister ended in detention. Here's Mimi Letnich, close friend and guardian to Merlos' children.
Her sister, who's a Canadian citizen, stepped over the line.
when she was saying goodbye.
Following that fateful farewell on June 28th, Mimi says Border Patrol approached, arresting Merlos, detaining her and her kids. Days later, she says ICE picked up Merlos' husband, Carlos, in Portland, taking him to the facility in Tacoma.
They're the kind of people you want in society. They're the people that, you know, you're lucky enough to have as friends.
But a Customs and Border Protection spokesperson claims the mother was arrested for trying to smuggle, quote, illegal aliens into the U.S. In a statement, they added her children were present during the smuggling attempt, and she requested the children remain with her during detention. Len Saunders, an immigration attorney in Blaine, Washington, weighed in on the detention.
Something doesn't add up here. It doesn't add up that a mom would bring her 4 American kids if she was trying to help smuggle aliens into this country. So I'd be interested to know what the final details are and if Homeland Security is being honest here and upfront.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Okay, I want to get you back to that traffic alert in Marion County. Southbound I-5 has been snarled here for more than a half an hour because of a disabled vehicle near the construction zone. So near Commercial and Delaney construction project, right? The southbound, one of the lanes is blocked, and that's got traffic now on southbound I-5 backed up nearly 3 miles. This is the snapshot from Kubler Boulevard. We'll take you a little farther north up near Mill Creek, and you can see it is definitely taking folks a good 15 extra minutes to get southbound through Salem right now. We'll bring you farther north in Tualatin. I-5 northbound traffic moving, but a little slow near the 205 interchange. At last check, your trip in from Wilsonville is just shy of 30 minutes. Just shy of 30 to get you in from Troutdale on I-84. And the end of the line on the Sunset has made its way to the Sylvan Hill. We're still pretty slow and go, though, from Sylvan into the Vista Ridge Tunnel. I-5, the end of the line there, has made its way to North Portland. We're looking at about, let's say, 18 minutes to get you from the Interstate Bridge south to the Fremont. Drew?
Thank you, Chris. How about this? Talking pro wrestling next, buddy. Oh, yeah. What you gonna do,
brother,
when the Hulkster runs wild on you?
Brother.
Pro wrestling taking over Portland's Viking Arena over the weekend. If you couldn't get there to see the wrestling action up close, don't worry, we've got you covered. We're gonna bring you the story next on the Sunrise Show. Oh, yeah, brother.
Brother.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Monday morning. You know, last night, Portland State's Viking Pavilion hosted some pro wrestling. I was told to pay attention to the video behind me because the action is pretty intense. Oh, yeah! Whoa! Look at this. Wrestlers from around the world. I hear you. I see you. I see all that. Wrestlers from around the world faced off in Combat Clash 2025. We talked to the organizer of the event and a tag team champion ahead of all the action last night.
It's loud. It's jam-packed.
Wow! Joe Bacon!
It's violent.
In the form of the Messiah of the backbreaker.
Prestige Wrestling started in 2017 as a reaction to an independent wrestling show that I went to that wasn't great, and I thought I could do better. I've always said that the reason I got into wrestling was to give somebody the best night of their life, and that whether that's the fan or the wrestler too.
People love that Danhausen.
There's no other feeling. There's nothing that compares to being in the ring, doing what you love to do. I love the pageantry, I love the athleticism, I love the fights, I love the reaction that you can get from the fans. I love the backstage stuff, everything. I love everything about it. Well, I'm Ricky Gibson, one half of the Midnight Heat. So I started wrestling in 2004 here in Hillsboro, Oregon. I've wrestled all over the West Coast, traveled to Costa Rica, through Canada, and in 2021 I started training students, and I have about 80 students right now. So I run pro wrestling training class 4 days a week.
I have been wrestling for about just over 2 years now. I was scrolling through the TV channel, started watching WWE when I was very little. And then just stuck with it. And once I started to hit a certain age, realized that there was an opportunity to kind of pursue this and chase this, and started showing up to Oregon Pro Wrestling School, and the rest is history. First getting in the ring was an incredibly kind of eye-opening experience. Everything hurts.
Well, I know it's easy to see when someone gets slammed on the ground that it hurts. I know it's easy to see when someone gets punched in the face that it hurts. But hitting these ropes, these are steel cables. Hitting these buckles, this is a steel buckle. Like, this is metal that you're hitting. And a lot of times fans don't necessarily realize that until they come into the school and they try out the first day. It hurts.
Love doing it, and it's insanely rewarding when everything is great. And so just being able to chase your dreams and live your dreams, and there's always going to be a little bit of give back with something. This one with wrestling just so happens to be a little bit more physically.
The thing that makes independent wrestling special is the connection with the fans and the wrestlers and the people involved, and the how close you are to it. You know, you're right there on the ring. You're jam-packed in a small venue. It's more punk rock than WWE or AEW.
Well, you get to tell your own story. You're in charge. Here's the thing that I love about pro wrestling. You don't have to be a fan. You can come with a fan. You can come with someone that's been to every single Prestige show ever, and you can see the excitement in their eyes and on their face, and when they can't physically keep themselves in their seat because they're up clapping and cheering and yelling. You don't have to be a fan, though. You can come in completely blind and just be absolutely entertained by everything that's going on in the ring.
It's kind of like that. We covered that that skydiving story earlier. Talked about that's something I have no desire doing.
Yeah.
I'm watching this. I'm thinking the same thing. Like, every time I watch them get slammed, my back is like, ow, aching out in pain. Yeah, put me in a headlock. Put me in a headlock.
Oh, here we go.
Do you even know what?
Here comes the headlock.
Never mind. How about this? Can you fake that? If I was to throw like a punch, could you fake like you were getting hit?
Yeah.
I didn't even throw it yet.
Wait.
Yeah. No, you go the other way. No, if I'm going this way, she's got to.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, that's
still
yes.
not bad.
But they may not land every punch, but they're falling and getting thrown on the ground every time.
Yeah, and even I'm sure they train exactly what part of their body should hit first, but still, how does that not hurt?
Right.
I don't get it.
You got to accentuate the pain, like when they get in that arm lock.
Oh boy.
You got to sell it, Rod. Sell it.
Oh, that's my sore arm, my sore shoulder, my sore everything. Hey, by the way, real quick, I'm going to walk over to the weather wall. Record Tuesday, 103 for Portland. Record 104 Wednesday. Record 102 Thursday. It doesn't look like any of those records are meteorologically possible with the current setup we have, but it's going to be getting hot, and today is a one-day cool-off for the Valley. Portland, Salem, Vancouver, good morning. It's a beautiful Monday morning out there. We're going to stay in the 80s today, so take advantage. There is a red flag warning. This is on the north side of the Columbia River from about White Salmon up through Goldendale, then up into Kennewick for high fire danger. And with the word of hot weather coming in the coming days, the wind direction tomorrow, which has been more west-northwest, tomorrow it's more north-northeast. So that alone will lower relative humidity factors as temperatures rise. That alone will increase fire danger for any particular sparks that would maybe start a blaze. They could rapidly spread. So just keep that in mind too, that fire danger is almost always inherently high as we get into these really warm days. The Weather Service up and down I-5, Eugene, Salem, Portland, Vancouver, Kelso, Longview, out into the gorge. Heat advisory up for tomorrow. Heat advisory Tuesday and Wednesday. Now there is a heat advisory today out toward Pendleton. You folks feeding off the same batch of air that produced Portland's 95-degree temp yesterday. But for the Rose City and the rest of the valley and up into Vancouver, we've got a KGW weather impact alert for the heat advisory starting at noon tomorrow, so Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday day into Wednesday evening, exhaustion, heat stroke. Hottest temperatures will be Wednesday. Low to mid-90s tomorrow, but could be nearing 100 in some spots on Wednesday. And of course, shade, water, rest breaks. And obviously, if you can not do any heavy lifting outdoors, so to speak, workload-wise on Wednesday, it'd be best to maybe put that off until another day. I got lots of work on the golf course going on, it looks like currently. The Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club out in Loa, 68 degrees is the number. Downtown Portland from the Pioneer Park building camera looking out over the square, 68 is the temperature. We're 58 now Astoria. The coast has cloudiness. Kelso Longview has cloudiness. Other than that, Oregon is clear. 77 over in Bend, where we'll be up into the 90s today. Valley forecast. We should hold in the 80s today. This shows 85 to 87 in Salem. I've got Southwest Washington in the 70s for Longview. You have cloudiness right now. Battleground to Vancouver hitting 80 or a little bit better. I've got Portland at 84. Again, take advantage of today. Tomorrow, 95 would match yesterday's high. And then 99, maybe 100 on Wednesday with the KGW weather impact alert. Thursday, we're down to 92, I think, at the hottest. Maybe we'll get morning clouds Thursday, and that would actually drop us even more. Low 80s this upcoming weekend. It is birthday time. All right, we start today's party with Jude, who is 5 today. Happy birthday on this Monday. Brooklyn, still a teenager last year, 19. Happy birthday to you. Dave celebrating his birthday with a cool one there. Happy birthday. And we have Fred, who is 90. Now, Fred just looks like he can take care of business, doesn't he? 90 years young. Happy birthday, sir. Birthday's at KGW.com. We'll celebrate with you. Here's Chris.
Don't mess with Fred. All right, let's get you back to that traffic alert in Marion County. This has been a problem now for a good hour and a half. A disabled vehicle on southbound I-5 down near the construction zone near Delaney Road, where we go from 3 lanes to 2, has traffic backed up now a good 3 miles. This is at Kubler Boulevard, and then we'll take you a little farther north near Mill Creek, and then a little farther north near Highway 22. So you can see that southbound traffic starting to build back towards Highway 22. The bottom line is if you're heading south through Salem right now, you're going to need an extra 15 or so minutes at least to get through that southbound backup. Farther north through Tualatin, I-5 improving a bit. We're still a little thick, though, through that 205 interchange. Total drive-in from Wilsonville right now, averaging around 30 minutes. Trip in from the west side, still heavy over the Sylvan Hill. The good news is the end of the line kind of starts inside of 217, right at about Sylvan from here at Slow and Go, the rest of the way into the tunnel. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
In our top stories this morning, dozens of search and rescue crews are searching for a missing mountain biker in the Mount Hood National Forest. 52-year-old Ralph Sawyer didn't return home from his planned biking trip on Friday. His car was found with his phone inside. The Clackamas County Sheriff's Office says that they're centering their search around East Still Creek Road and roads around Trillium Lake. Sawyer is 6'1" with brown hair. He was last seen wearing an orange bike helmet, blue shirt, and black shorts. If you have any information, you're asked to call 503-723-4949. Police are investigating a deadly stabbing inside a southeast Portland home on Sunday. They say it happened shortly after 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon near the intersection of Southeast 114th and Boise Street. Officers found a man dead inside the home. Less than an hour later, they detained a suspect nearby. No word yet on whether the suspect and victim knew each other, but anyone with information is asked to contact Portland police. And new this morning, the Cram fire burning near Madras in Jefferson County has grown to more than 4,000 acres overnight. The fire was discovered around 5:30 Sunday. This was triggered level 2 beset evacuation orders for parts of Jefferson County. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says the fire is 0% contained.
I don't think it's going to be overly windy there today. Winds will be from the west, certainly breezy, and temperatures will be in the mid-90s, by the way, in Jefferson County. Here in the Rose City, we get a one-day break from the heat. It was 95 yesterday. Today, just 84, but look at the impact alert. Weather Service has a heat advisory for 95 tomorrow, 99 on Wednesday, and then we start pulling the temperature back down on Thursday.
We pick it up with that traffic alert in Marion County. I-5 southbound through the Salem area. Disabled vehicle near the construction zone. This is near the Delaney Road, Commercial Road couplet where they're making some significant changes there. The southbound, one of the southbound lanes is blocked. And traffic is stacked up a good 3 miles getting around this. I'll show you the camera at Mill Creek, and then there at, Highway 22 off in the distance, you can see the lineup starting to build. So bottom line, plan an extra 15, 18 minutes to get southbound on I-5 through Salem right now.
Hey, we ran that wrestling story a few minutes ago, and I blew the opportunity to be part of the wrestling action here. You want to try it one more time? All right, let's wrestle. Oh! Oh! There we go. That looked halfway real, maybe?
Wait, can it come off the top rope?
Please do.
Tag team.
Oh, no! Boom! Yes, thanks for joining us here on Sunrise on this Monday morning.
I'm too old to get involved. Too old to get involved.
Rod's like the manager guy. Good morning, I'm Drew Carney. New this morning, the Cram fire. This is the one burning near Madras in Jefferson County. We know it's grown to more than 4,000 acres already since it was first spotted around 5:30 last night. This fire has also triggered level 2 beset evacuation orders for parts of Jefferson County, and we know the sheriff's office there says it is still 0% contained. All right, Rob, what do you have for us in the Weather Center?
Temperature is a concern over in Central Oregon. It's mid-90s today, so that's not great for firefighting, meaning the fires will have a tendency to want to continue to expand. In Portland, though, it's a one-day break from the heat. 84 today. Take advantage, because look at the red. The impact alert for hot weather, 95 tomorrow, nearing 100 on Wednesday, then back down to 92 on Thursday.